to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to Vecinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
Welcome to Vecinos. Today's guest is Mike Nava, a San Diego boy that moved to Los Angeles. Today we'll focus on growing up in Logan Heights, the activism of the early 70s. Mike, you were chairman of both MECHA and the Brown Berets, and we're going to talk about that. But let's start with Mike Nava, the little boy. You lived with your grandparents, who you refer to as Mom and Dad. Tell us about growing up in Logan Heights. What was Logan Heights like before the freeway and the bridge?
Well, realistically, I feel that it was probably one of the best barrios in San Diego, based on the fact that Logan Heights was really, it was like quite a few miles, like it went from our barrio right there in Logan all the way to 47th in Logan, or way, like by Valencia Park at that time. So it was a big area, but anyway, people were really proud to say they were from Logan Heights. Well, when I was growing up, I was basically, I went to school right there at Our Lady Guadalupe, and then I was raised by my grandparents, and they worked in the cannery industry all their life, and then finally they saved some money, and they were able to. Our Lady Guadalupe was like a half a block from our house, and there was a store in the corner called Valenzuela Market, and they saved up enough money, and Mr. Valenzuela had sort of propositioned my parents to see if they wanted to buy it, and they bought the store. And by that time, I was like, I think 8 years old, and I used to be in the street a lot playing, like marbles and pops, and not being around my house too much because, I used to like to, be a little kid that goes to people's houses and stuff, and my mom didn't like it. She used to always, in those days, you used to sort of get disciplined in very harsh ways that, you learned your lesson. Anyway, so then we got the store, and then I was like 8 years old, and basically I used to help out and do whatever I could, and at the same time go to school right there at Our Lady Guadalupe.
Can we backtrack a minute? Where exactly was the house? You said a half a block. Was it? It was on Kearny. But
I was across the street where the pedestrian bridge is at right now.
Yes.
Right under it.
It's gone.
Next to the convent, next to the sisters' house, the convent.
Yes.
And the store was right on the corner where Our Lady of Guadalupe Hall is at right now.
And what was the name of the store?
At the time that
after Valencia,
he had it. It was I believe it was Valenzuela Market or Our Lady of Guadalupe. I'm not positive, but yeah, I think it was Mr. Valenzuela was the one that ran it, but I think the store name was Our Lady. No, Guadalupe Market, I think.
Is that what the name your grandparents left on it?
Yeah, okay. We left that until we moved to another store that was because the freeway came and Our Lady of Guadalupe School needed to expand because they were at the bottom of the hill where you make the turn where the freeway's at right there, the wall, and that used to be like the playground, that used to be like the head office, and all the classrooms were there. So the freeway came and took that part of it. So all the houses on that side that were across the street from the school were gone, and the school decided that they had to move, take the whole block. So they moved up to where the store was, and then we were able to get another store with the money they gave us from that, I guess. I was sort of small, so I wasn't really in any
the business
of that litigation stuff.
Okay, what does a little boy of 8 years old do working in a store? What was your job? What did you do?
Everything. During, in those days you had grease pencils, so you had to mark like numbers down on every single can. You had to do all kinds of I'd go to the produce with my dad in the warehouses early in the morning on Saturdays because I didn't go to school, and go pick up all the stuff and then bring it back, and stuff like that. And the main thing was, though, when we were at the Guadalupe market, my dad was always pretty good at making meats and stuff like that. So he started making his own chorizo, and realistically, I was the one that prepared everything for it. Like the chile and the garlic and all that stuff. And every week I had to do it, hook or cook, like it or not like it, And as I grew up, I learned how they did it and stuff like that. People in those days, people even from La Jolla used to come because it was pretty well known and it was really good, So, and then I started work. There was this guy from the Frito-Lay company. His name was Charlie, and he used to always joke with me, and I think he used to call me Little Mexican all the time or something like that. But anyway, and we sort of got along real good. And then he asked my mom if he could take me on the route with him, and I was with him for 18 years. And when I started with him, I was 8 years old, and I used to get $2 a day, and I used to think that was really grand theft cash, in those days. But I was able to save enough money to buy a bike, so I finally had a real bike because I never really had a real bike because my brothers, which were really my uncles, I was always I got hand-me-downs because I really wasn't the son, I was just the grandson. And that was another trip living that way. But anyway, I just, got into that, and then once it was really, sometimes good living as a little kid in Logan, and sometimes not good, especially Amador's Market was right there on Logan. Say, why can't something be done about that? And really in my whole lifetime as I was growing up, and Amador's Market was there, that nothing really ever got done about that. Until even when the bakery was right next door or something like that. But it was.
Excuse me, Mike. Were they homeless people or people from the community that were taking the leftover or the thrown out food?
Well, honestly, yeah, they were. I knew one of them really well because really he was a family person, and he had gone sort of. Well, honestly, he was mentally disturbed.
Okay.
And the other guys that I remember being there were homeless, or even sometimes, borrachitos that used to maybe not go home for a couple of days, and they tripped there, and and I used to see him because you'd walk by there to go. Everything was around there, like Amador's Market, the bakery, and then Petras, where. Mm-hmm. Is now called Las Cuatro Milpas, and everybody goes there to go eat all the time because it's famous, I remember when we used to walk to all those places from our houses. But then when the freeway came, it took them quite a while to get the pedestrian bridge up there, and you really couldn't go by there no more. You had to go all the way around to ¿cómo se llama? Crosby. And, it was a long walk, but, if you wanted something from the store, you had to do it, But and then that's basically, I just was a kid that once we went to Our Lady Guadalupe, it sort of was out of commission for a while because it was being rebuilt.
Hold that thought, Mike. We're going to commercial. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll continue because I do want to hear about you going to school and about you playing in the streets out in Logan Heights. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
The richness of your life is reflected in the shimmering elegance found at Diolun Design. One-of-a-kind jewelry and pieces from Cynthia Dillon in silver and gold help to express your unique personality. The flowing designs of her creations will empower the way you move throughout your day. Join us online at DIOLUNdesigns.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. MCAULIFFE. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to Vecinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
Welcome back to Vecinos. My guest today is Mike Nava, who was here in San Diego from the time he was born till well into his 20s, maybe even early 30s. But Mike, let's talk a little bit about where you started school and your schooling.
I went to Our Lady of Guadalupe. You know, it was a Catholic school, and my parents were pretty religious. I mean, the church was right there, so, like, you really couldn't help and being involved in stuff at the church all the time. But yeah, I went to Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I went there till the 6th grade until the school, 6th grade, I think, or the 5th grade. I think it was the 5th grade. Anyway, when the freeway came and the school got sort of word that it wasn't going to be around for a while because they had to get funds or had to do something to build a new school, then my parents at that time didn't really want me to go to any of the public schools around because they already felt I wasn't too good of a model kid anyway. So, like, I went to school in Tijuana, and my parents had I didn't say anything, but they did purchase another store once they got out of that. They were bought out. And, so the school closed, and then I started going to school in Tijuana, and my dad would take me in the morning real early and pick me up real late at night and stuff, or whenever he could get there. And no matter what time it was, when I got back from school, I still had to come to the store and stack everything up, because like I was the only one around living with them, because their sons, my uncles, whatever, they sort of, got married and left. So I was there, and I learned everything about the store, how to run the store. At the end, they really wanted me to keep the store, and I already sort of had my mind set on the way there could be a liquor store, because there wasn't a liquor store close by and stuff. But I got into the movement and helping the gente, and that became more important to me than anything else. But
I have a question about your Tijuana school experience. What do you think of that experience, and how did your Spanish hold up over there?
I loved it, but well, you could really say I felt bullied. I mean, in those days, bullied didn't mean nothing, but I really sort of felt bullied because, they knew I was like from the other side,
right,
from San Diego, and they would, call me Pocho and stuff, or Gringo or stuff like that, and I knew I was never a Gringo. I mean, like, so it used to sort of bother me, but I really liked it because the education there and the teachers there really make sure that no matter like how many kids they got in their class, they really made sure that you caught on to what it was what the lessons were, And I really felt that I when I left San Diego, I was getting nothing but like C's, D's, and F's. And when I came back, I had, gotten nothing but A's and B's, so. And once I came back, I didn't even feel that I needed to go to any other school because I had already learned what a high school student learns here in the American educational system,
Yeah, when you were at San Diego High School, you were hanging out at City College.
All the time, because I was ditching all the time because I was bored going to school because I learned all the stuff in Tijuana,
So what were you doing?
Hanging out at City College and fooling around and getting into, like illegal things and stuff. I mean,
do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, if you want me to. I mean, if
it's
there's
fine with
any
me.
Cops out there that are going to bust me for things I did a long time ago. Yeah, I guess. I used to be sort of a, like I don't know. I always sort of patterned myself as a leader in certain things anyway. So I sort of started being a leader and going to Tijuana and doing stuff, and then going to City College and selling drugs, and we used to hang out at this place called Boogie's that used to be like right there on 12th and near San Diego High, like I guess about 2 blocks away or something.
Yeah.
And all the Raza was there all the time, most of the time, Raza and the brothers and sisters and everything. We used to take our cars.
What kind of what was Boogie's? Was it a hamburger joint? Was it a
Yeah. Hamburger joint that had a little parking lot in the back, and we used to go in the back and trade drugs and get a buzz and have fun and bring girls. Sometimes you buy stuff, and ladies would come by and they'd hang out with us, and cops would come and roust us. And, I forgot to say, ever since I was little, no matter how little I was, and as far as I could remember, I never remember that. I remember all my life that San Diego was one of the most racist places with cops that were so racist to us, and they were so mean to us when we were little. It was disgusting, and it hasn't gotten any better. That's what blows my mind.
Talk about your ticket.
Find a way to be leaders. Pardon me?
Talk about your ticket. I think because it is a funny. I can't believe it.
We used to go like we were little Chicanitos that used to really cruise around walking. And there was like maybe 3 or 4 of us, and we'd go different places, and we'd hang up a lot at Golden Hill Recreational Center. And then after that, we'd go around some of the houses of friends and girls and guys that we knew in the area. And Golden Hill at that time was all sort of like really white, like very... Anglo-sized, and very few Rasa families in those days, and some Asian families. But yeah, we used to go up there and trip out a lot after we leave at recreation. And one time I had to get home fast because this one girl was going to call me, and I really wanted to talk to her. And I was, always pretty fast. I could run pretty good. And I swear to God, one time I was running real fast. The cops turned the light on me, and it was on commercial where the railroad tracks. There was like a little auto shop there, right there on the corner. It was like a little round corner right there where two streets meet. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and the cop stopped me and put his red light on, and he gave me a ticket for running too fast. And, that ain't no bull, and that really blew my mind, because when I went to juvenile court, the referee or whoever was their judge, they, just laughed and said, how ridiculous could a cop be? I mean, they didn't say that, but you could see that in their, the way they, running too fast. I think they looked it up in the penal code and it didn't exist or something. Anyway, so, yeah, but,
Can I get you to talk a little bit about the car clubs when you were in Golden Hill Recreation Center?
Yeah, realistically, I had, I think at that time I had a 56 Chevy, and then I got GTO. But anyway, we had a car club up there that we were sort of Chicanos from different neighborhoods, or from Golden Hill and from down over on 16th, and in the area out of Logan Heights a little bit, because it was in the Golden Hill area. And we had a car club up at Golden Hill called the Uniques, and we were pretty popular because we had, Ernest Bustillos, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was with us in his 57 Chevy, and some other guys I'm sure you guys know. But anyway, we were pretty, known, and there was other clubs, like especially Los Condes from Showtown. They didn't really like us that much, so and it wasn't that we were bad guys. It's just that we really were they thought we were from Golden Hill, but we weren't. We had our meetings there at the rec center because that's where we could have them.
How did a high school dropout dealing in drugs end up going to college?
Well, I mean, the way you say dealing in drugs makes me sound like I was
should we say petty dealing or whatever?
Yeah, but it sort of was like an accident, but I don't know. I started sort of like I said, I was doing all kinds of bad stuff, and then I started getting involved with the Logan Heights Team Post Center that was right there, and that's where I also learned about the Brown Berets, because at that time there was some older veteranos that were already starting the organization, and they were, pretty well known in the community, with some of us that were sort of into knowing what goes on. Oh, another thing that happened when I was little, I forgot to tell you, Maria. If I can expand on it. Drugs in those days were just like an everyday common thing, you'd walk down to Amador's Market, or in that area, right, especially right there by the drugstore, and the theater was on the corner, the drugstore was another corner, and caddy corner was Amador. And then I told you in the back there used to be he'd throw a lot of stuff out there, and people would sort of, go get it and stuff like that. Tecatos used to hang out there too, and you go by and it wasn't, something that was a big, major epidemic or a problem until you started getting people that, let's say, were more well known or were involved in different kind of stuff, or even white people and stuff when they started getting.
We're going to commercials, so hold that thought. But I do want to and I want to talk about SB 164 and how you got to college. Okay. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate I appreciate you being so frank and honest.
Okay, that's cool.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McCullough brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcCullough.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. MCAULIFFE. ChristopherMcCullough.com.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Attention business owners. If you feel like your business owns you and want to grow your company and get your life back, then get the Scale Toolkit at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com. Created by Wall Street Journal bestselling author David Finkel and Priceline.com co-founder Jeff Hoffman, this free collection of 36 videos and PDF tools will help you build a business, not a job. Go to scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com today and learn how to work less by getting your business to produce more.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
If you heard that sound, you probably are eligible for insurance from Navy Mutual, insuring the men and women of the Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Here's what one policyholder, retired Navy Commander Thomas Dade, had to say.
Navy Mutual is the best insurance decision I ever made. I wish you had a savings plan available that earned the rates my Navy Mutual insurance has been earning.
Navy Mutual Aid Association, started by military members in 1879, serves active, reserve, and retired military today. Navy Mutual honors our military by providing them affordable life insurance with the features they need without fine print, sales fees, or military service restrictions. Value, integrity, trust, and stability are the cornerstones on which our commitment to you and your loved ones are built. Call Navy Mutual at 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org for your personal life insurance plan consultation. 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to Vecinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
Welcome back to Vecinos. My guest today is Mike Nava. And Mike, before we talk about your college experience or going to college, can you tell us a little bit about your political involvement at the young age of 8?
Well, first of all, a lot of people know me as Feedman Mike, so you could say Feedman Mike too, okay?
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I was a little kid that used to like to, not really stay home all the time. So I don't know. I just happened that one day I was going to Amador's Market, and they were having a rally up there on Logan Avenue, right outside of Amador's Market. And there was a lot of people standing on the side of the sidewalks, and I really didn't know what it was, but I saw a bunch of cars and cops and everything. So, I saw people, sort of passing out flyers and stuff. So, I don't know. That was when Kennedy was running for president, or he was already president. Anyway, I just grabbed some flyers and started passing out to people. And ever since then, I think I like politics.
Now, what was your grandmother's reaction to you passing out flyers?
That I was, metiche, and I was, getting, I got in trouble because I really shouldn't be over there by myself, and if I did go buy something, I have to be back right away. And I always had, the habit of not going back home right away. So anyway.
Eres travieso.
Yeah, and in those days, when they disciplined you, they disciplined you. But I was always like sort of a hard-head kid that couldn't be disciplined too much, even though I did get beat up a lot by my parents many times. But
let's talk about getting you to college. What got you?
Well, then, like I was telling you, okay, once I got involved with the Logan Heights Team Pulse, and I started going and getting more active, I got into a car club called the Baja Kings, and I had a pretty, badass GTO that was very powerful and was. I got 19 tickets, as a matter of fact, in that vehicle, and I even went to jail because the judge didn't want my money anymore. So, everybody knew me. I mean, in all areas. One of my main things at that time was that I wanted to show other neighborhoods that, Chicanos had bad cars too, and like we could race you or low ride with you or whatever. And I was always a high rider at that time. And my GTO was pretty well known all over. I could burn a block of rubber, like right in front of the team post all the way to Crosby, and, used to get a lot of tickets. But anyway, I started going there a lot. I started sort of going to the Brown Beret meetings with the veteranos and stuff, because I was sort of the youngest one around anyway. And then I met this guy named Jorge Madruquin, which, he was really pretty firme. And then after that, he's the one that sort of told me about college. But I had already started getting involved in other stuff. I was in a program called Jobs Now that was funded through the federal government, and I was like a supervisor of a Latino group or Chicano group at that time, and then there was another group that was African American, and we got money to go paint houses and make fences, and nowadays I guess they call it beautification. In those days, it was under the program. When beautification program first started, there was a program called Jobs Now that was their main office was on 43rd and Ocean View, and I got involved in that, and I liked that a lot too. But that's how I met all those different reasons and things that I got involved with. I met Jorge Madruquin over there at the Team Post, and he told me about this program called. I sort of didn't finish high school. I got thrown out of high school because I was truant all the time because it was boring, and only during sports I liked it. And he's the one that told me about it, and it was a program called SB 164, which was set up by California Senate or whatever it was. Yeah, Senate Bill 164, and it was a program that would help you get your diploma at the same time you were getting college degrees. I ended up getting AA there, and then went to UCR, Riverside, and still needs a couple of credits to get a bachelor's in political science, Chicano studies. But that's still, so maybe I'll get it before I die. But anyway, I started going to City College, and then I got involved, and by that time I think my mind was, pretty well set on the fact that I knew that Raza had been getting screwed over all its life since I was a little dude. And then all of a sudden, I really started getting more and more involved. And at that time, like I told you, I had been going to the Brown Beret meetings at the Team Post. And for some reason, the veteranos, sort of didn't really meet anymore. And I decided, I guess, to sort of not want to get the organization. So I redeveloped it and learned how to really get people involved in the organization, and went through the national organization here in Los Angeles. And that time, David Sanchez was the prime minister. And one thing I could say is the Brown Berets from San Diego was probably one of the most respected group than anybody else, which is now the Brown Berets de Aztlán, which was, back then there wasn't really that much bickering between organizations like that. It was more like revolutionary cause that we were together to fight for la gente, and no matter what it took, that we were there. Our motto was by any means necessary. So anyway, I went to City College, and I was very fortunate that maybe because I had sort of quite a bit of street sense, and I knew how to carry myself and understand what was going on, that I sort of got nominated or appointed. I think the Chicano students helped me there, too, when I was a MECHA chairman, to become the assistant to the director of financial aids on the Chicano side. And then there was another side, the African-American director or assistant director. And the director that was in charge of the whole program was I think his name was Dan McElroy, or anyway, he was a real nice guy. And he was African-American, but, he knew that the Chicanos were really pushing as much as they could to get the students in. And we were very fortunate that we had, a lot of our students from MECHA that got involved in recruiting and going to the high schools with myself and, other students. And little by little, we, I knew that I was already the chairman of the Brown Berets, and I knew already. And it was a trip because I'd go to work, because I was his assistant director, so I'd have to wear a tie and coat and stuff, or, dress a little bit sort of like, I was more professional. And I was a Brown Beret and stuff, and it was really trippy because, several times I put my uniform on while I had the same title. I mean, it was really weird because, even the administration, I think at that time, wanted to throw me out of that position because I was a Brown Beret at the same time. And
Mike, tell us some of the things MECHA, because MECHA at City College at that time was very active. Can you talk about some of the things MECHA was involved in those days?
I think the biggest thing was Chicano Park, but I think probably one of the most, where I learned a lot was being involved with other students that were maybe there before me and more educated about, the college system that I really didn't know. There was a thing, I believe it was, how can I call it? Anyway, the Plan de Santa Barbara was going along at that time. And that was basically something, first of all, to let people know that we all live in Aztlan. And second of all, to basically try to expand our culture in a way where we really wanted Chicano studies to be something that was going to be like forever, in all the colleges and high schools and grammar schools and everything. And we were a pretty, I would say, a group of people that were, very moving, when something came up, we moved at it right away, So we were involved in this kind of education, and we had our teacher by the name of Gil Roblero, which was a real cool dude, and also the fact that he was the only Chicano or the first Chicano that ever ran for mayor. And, that could have happened, but I'm not going to get into that one. But the fact of the matter was, he helped us, and then Cruz Rangel came later, but he helped us a lot to understand that, and we sort of were into it, Plan de Santa Barbara, but getting Chicano studies going and everything. And we sort of send out information to all the colleges in California, and then we sort of had what we were calling our own conference to bring Chicanos together to educate our minds to understand how important Chicano studies and how important for them to understand that we live in Aztlan, And this
Hold on, Mike. We're going to commercial again. But I do want you to talk more about MECHA and the Brown Berets in our last segment. Thank you so much again for sharing your stories.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
You've heard me talking about Progressive Medical Center. They have helped me feel my best. And Dr. Gully, tell us a little bit about integrative medicine. Why is that such a big deal at Progressive Medical Center, and how can that make me feel better?
Integrative medicine is just good medicine. It's combining the best of traditional medicine, nutritional medicine, natural medicine, and really helping the patient get to the root cause so they can take control of their health and really make an impact to improve not only their energy, their vitality, and just their overall outlook on their health and their life.
I procrastinated for a long time before I finally made an appointment. So why should someone not delay and go ahead and get set up and come see you guys?
Any journey begins with that first step, and that first step means making a decision to recognize that there's something wrong with you. Whether you have fatigue, inappropriate weight gain, not sleeping well, not concentrating, all of these issues, you can get to the root cause.
So many of us here at The Fish have gotten help from Progressive Medical Center. So why don't you find out more from them today? Go to progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Attention business owners. Does it feel like your business owns you? See if you qualify for a free 90-minute business coaching session to help you build a business, not a job. During this free 90-minute strategic consultation, one of our senior coaches will help you map out the best way to grow your company and get your life back. To learn more, go to MauiMasterminds.com/scale now. That's MauiMasterminds.com/scale now.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to the Cinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
You're listening to WSRadio.com, the world's leader in Internet talk, and we are here with Mike Nava, who is right now, as we talked, or was talking about being at City College and involving MECHA in recruiting and in talking about the different aspects of going to college and the plan de Santa Barbara. Mike, please continue.
Well, yeah, so we were at City College, and we got involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, Robledo used to be or professor or doctor or
advisor.
He was Robledo anyway. He was pretty feedback because he used to we were in Chicano studies, and he used to give us projects that we could get involved in, and it was really cool because you could pick narcotics prevention, or you could pick getting involved with maybe organizations that have to do with battering Chicano women, or organizations that you might want to get into, and you get credit with under his classes and stuff like that. So it was really cool, but and it just so happens that and then I mean, we were also well known because we were really pushing the fact that, we were in Aslan, and we would have an Aslan flag. And if this, and we felt that the Aslan flag was realistically our flag because we knew that realistically we were, like mestizos. We came from different cultures and bloods way back. So anyway, when we decided to have, I'm just going to throw in this real quick because it was weird. I mean, it shows you how racist things are when we're trying to do something educationally. When we were having that conference I told you about that we invited all the schools like in California to come and stuff, it was started on a Friday, and we decided we were going to take down the American flag and put up the Aslan flag. Well, we were dressed in our brown beret uniforms, and we put a circle around the flagpoles to protect basically the flag or no interruptions. And we had a couple of teachers from city that one of them we already knew he was racist, and the other one showed us his colors that day. But yeah, it was weird because they wanted us to not, take. We didn't take down the American flag to be disrespectful. We were just doing it to let people know that this is where the conference is at. By them basically seeing the flag, if they're not really that sure where City College is at. City College wasn't that big at that time, I think it was 2 buildings. So anyway, or with 3. Anyway, not like it is now. But, so we were pretty involved in, all kinds of stuff like that. And then all of a sudden when we were having a MECHA meeting, I think it was a Tuesday because our MECHA meetings were on Tuesdays, I think. Anyway, I was the chairman of MECHA at the time. And Mario Solis, one of our homeboys, veteranos, and that was an ex-Beret too, he came in, and he had a reputation already of being, like a person that, wasn't really in his right mind all the time. But he came in and he started telling us that the bulldozers and that there was a heavy equipment that were like building a highway patrol station. And we were sort of really confused, flabbergasted, disgusted, not positive of what he was saying based on the fact that he wasn't that reputable. But anyway, he swore on it that's what happened. So I gave the meeting to I don't remember who the vice president was at that time, either Richard or Pat. Anyway, and then we decided, a group of us decided to get in our cars and go over to this place, where our park was supposed to be. They had promised that was going to be a park for the community for many, many years, and it was when Mario came and said that, we really sort of thought maybe, they're building the park. So we came over there. And it's really stupid because, we live in the area. I live maybe a block and a half from Chicano Park. And because we were focused going to City College and doing stuff in that direction, we really didn't notice what was happening in the barrio. And I thought that was really crazy because when we got there and we saw that the bulldozers and the heavy equipment were doing stuff, it really freaked me out. But anyway, we, a group of us decided to go, and we went, and some of us were berets and some of us weren't. And it was about altogether 6 of us, I believe. And we went up to the people doing the work, the foremen, and told them that, they had to stop doing the work. And we sort of were in a very, I would say, authoritative manner, telling them that he's got to stop. And, they sort of shined us on and stuff, but he got on the phone, he called his boss. I don't remember if we told him to or he felt that he was being sort of insulted or threatened that he did it on his own. But anyway, they docked off. The boss told them to leave or whatever, and they left. And the next day, it just so happens that, let me think, I think that was Tuesday. It just so happens that on Wednesday we were having a Brown Beret meeting, and we decided at that Brown Beret meeting what we were going to do. And, we went back to City College, and we let the students know that the ones that were involved, and Robleros also right away, that this terrible thing was happening in our barrio, and that it was a pig station. The California Highway Patrol office and mini jail was set up. The only thing they needed, I believe, was to finish the blacktop on the parking lot that we were at, and also the communication system that they needed to set up on top, which I really wanted to make that building, once we took it over, a Chicano Communication Central, or like a communication of anything that happens throughout the United States to Chicanos or to La Raza. Immediately we would know within 2 to 3 hours what kind of reaction that we should do as Chicanos throughout the country.
Mike, let me interrupt you for a minute. We have less than 3 minutes left, so please tell us the most important things that you want highlighted right now. Time passed very fast, didn't it?
Well, I would say that, yeah, it does when you're having a good time. But I would say that, realistically, honestly, Maria, what I've been fighting for all my life, ever since I was a little Chicanito, or I learned about the raza and I learned politics and stuff, is, we as an entire raza, I don't care, we're Mexicans, Nicaraguenses, Guatemaltecos, whatever we are. We got to understand and learn that we have to be united. When I used to say que viva la raza as the Brown Berets and stuff, or in MECHA, whatever, I meant la raza. I meant all of our people that are being always unjustly treated and always being in a position that we always have to sort of defend ourselves, when we should be equally the same as anybody else. And we will be if we can understand that we have to unite as a whole entire raza. But the thing is I'm 68 years old, and I can tell you that realistically all my life I've been fighting for this and hoping that this would happen by programs that we develop, by things that we do, by organizations that bring us together. And we can't unite together on every aspect. And we got to, because the white establishment, racist people, look who we got as president. I mean, come on, gente, wake up. Let's do something. But anyway, like I said, I'm an old vato now, and I really can't move around that much. I just had really major surgery on cancer situation. But, my cora is always at the point where we're always like looking at each other in a down manner, which we shouldn't, And if we got together, and the establishment doesn't want to let 12 million raza people become citizens, because if we do and we're united, we'll run this country. So get out and vote too also. It does count, I guess. Yeah, remember, I don't know, Maria, if you heard not too long ago that one person won by one vote?
Yes, I did hear that, of course. It does make a difference. Mike, I know you did tremendous things when you moved to L.A. You were an immigration specialist. You did a variety of things. You worked for the union. I want to thank you not only for sharing your memories, but for all the work you've done. We really do appreciate you. And I do know you've had health issues, and you still continue to be strong in your belief system.
I am.
We have about 30 seconds. What is your strongest memory of San Diego? And can you sum it up in 30 seconds?
Chicano Park, realistically. I was born and raised in San Diego, and I did a lot of stuff. And I know I was involved in maybe some new stuff and things. But to me, honestly, Chicano Park to me was one of the most fantastic things that I feel that we ever did, that the entire world found out about and
appreciates today. Mike, thank you so much for being so open and so honest. I really do appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, Maria, que viva la raza.
Que viva.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of universal talk laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal talk laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kenja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KenjaDixon.com. On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. If you've ever wanted to grow your business but held yourself back from fear that it would take over your life, then we urge you to get your copy of Scale today. It'll give you a proven roadmap for rapidly growing your business while also gaining more personal freedom. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Scale is for every entrepreneur who ever wondered if they really own their business or if their business owns them. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com. That's scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.
Controversy and conversation to upset the status quo. A no-holds-barred exploration and obliteration of the limits of possibility. Join me, Steve Olsher, and my rambunctious crew on Reinvention Radio, where each week we scour the planet to bring you the world's foremost social, business, political, technology, and scientific disruptors who challenge the accepted and forge daring, cutting-edge paths. That's Reinvention Radio, where normal comes to die and mediocrity meets its final demise.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.